Hello and welcome to Tamworth FC Social, a podcast all about Tamworth Football Club. I'm Jonathan and I'm joined by Brett and Graham. After Tamworth's trip to Warrington on Saturday was postponed and victory for Scunthorpe, it means the Lambs have dropped to second in the table, but they do at least have one game in hand on the teams immediately around them now. Scunthorpe are the new National League North leaders after their 5-1 thrashing of Hereford on Saturday. Hereford are fifth in the table now, though, as they won on Tuesday night. But that is a big statement victory for Scunthorpe, isn't it, Brett?
It is. I was expecting them to win. I was probably expecting them to have won by a decent margin, but I wasn't expecting them to put five past them. And I suppose they took advantage of the fact that we weren't playing as well. So now really it's advantage Scunthorpe.
Do you agree with that, Graham?
Yeah, it's a big statement win. They're really kicking on and they've hit some form, haven't they, in the last couple of games? But yeah, to score 5 away from home against Hereford, I mean, better play to them. Definitely just, I think they fine-tuned themselves a little bit. And yeah, but, as Brett said, the Tamworth game went on, there's probably a bit of an incentive to say, right, well, if we win this, lads, we're top of the league, it's a confidence boost and all that. So, yeah, also I'm surprised why Hereford are in the league. They've crept up out of nowhere. Perhaps maybe I've not been looking beyond the top 3, which is never thought I'd be saying that this season. But yeah, to see Hereford in 5th place as well. So that is certainly a decent victory for Scunthorpe. Based on that as well.
I think with saying that it's advantage Scunthorpe, I suppose the thing is that it's not getting any warmer. It's it's been -2 for most of the week, in the mornings and the early evenings. What's saying that the games aren't going to get called off on Saturday and the following Tuesday, and then suddenly, Scunthorpe play another game and win, then we're actually, 5 or 6 points behind them, and then it's Christmas.
Graham, does that worry you?
Yeah, I was just saying. Well, basically, I guess it kind of if this one gets postponed on Saturday, then it sort of stops the momentum, doesn't it, a little bit that we were starting to pick up again. So, don't know about worry, but it's just, I suppose, a little bit frustrating, and it might just lose that little bit of that little bit of oomph that we had the last couple of games potentially. But you've got to be confident in the team.
I suppose we have the advantage that the home games wouldn't get called off anyway because of the plastic pitch. So we do have that. And then, I mean, you could argue that if that was to happen for, say, the next 2 weeks where games get called off, then as we get into Christmas, we've got home games when others might get called off.
It's the problem with the backlog, isn't it, though? That's the only thing I would say. If we're getting a backlog of games, it could be we're part-time, they're full-time, so are South Shields, then that becomes... that could become sort of, a bit of a problem for us.
I suppose, though, every team is at risk of that around winter season, aren't they? And you look at the league table, there's some teams who've played as few as 19 games and then some have played 22. That's already a bit of a gap in terms of games in hand. Do you foresee Tamworth taking a hit in terms of confidence as a result of the postponement and Scunthorpe's victory?
I don't. I'm sure Andy Peakes is just keeping them on level ground anyway, from what he says in the post-match interview. So, no, I think we'll just keep going into the games as we have been with the same mentality. It's just a little bit frustrating that obviously, the momentum's slightly broken up from having these postponements, and if it gets postponed this weekend, then it's that same thing again. But no, I don't think it's going to deter our confidence.
You'd argue that the break would give the players a bit of a rest. And I did say that they needed a rest. And now they're having a rest, and I'm saying, I don't know if this is a good thing or not. But I suppose the other thing is obviously we've brought in loan signings to bolster the squad. I mean, look at the one that we've made this week. We've only got him for a month. If it carries on like this, which I'm sure it's not going to, but if it was to carry on like this, you're probably going to get 3 games out of him.
Yeah, so I mean, talking about Chris Ray, signed on loan for a month from Hartlepool, could be a really good signing, couldn't it, Brett, for Tamworth?
Yeah, it could. It's a sign, really, of with the sort of players that we should really be now looking towards making. Closed season, I was a bit concerned about the fact that there wasn't really any sort of player coming in from above the National League North, and the last three signings, albeit loan signings, we've had one from the National League North, and then we've had two from the National League. So it's a sign, really, the way we should probably really start looking. Even if we don't go up, it's better to be trying to get players from the league above, whether or not they've put it or not. They'll do a better job for you usually than ones that are just stalwarts in that league.
Yeah, this signing really excited me, to be honest, when I saw it earlier on. I know he scored a lot of goals for Banbury when they went up Southern League Central. Yes, I know it's a league below, but he got something like 22 goals, 14 assists, which is pretty impressive. It's a chance for him to link back up with Ben Aquai, who was there in the same season. So they've got that relationship. Probably one of the reasons maybe why he even came to Tamworth, who knows? Something's not quite happened for him this season. Not really sure what happened at Southend. I think Southend last season, it was like 29 appearances, 4 goals. So he had a decent amount of games in the conference last season, but for whatever reason, it's not worked at Hartlepool. I think just looking at some of their fans' reactions on Twitter, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some of them saying he didn't really get a chance, some saying he wasn't quite good enough at that level. But anyone who can score, 22 goals, 14 assists in a season, I think Dan Creaney's in the league below, and he's basically our main striker. So this guy's been playing at conference level for a couple of years. I mean, it's a good option to have. And if he is good, then why not try and sign him permanently? Probably costs a bit of dosh, but that as Brett said, I think it's a good statement of intent, that signing.
Where I saw on the Hartlepool website, they said 23 goals and 16 assists in that title-winning season for Banbury. So it could be even better than you think, Graham.
Yeah, good stuff. For Southend to take a punt on him and then Hartlepool, then he's obviously got some qualities. I mean, they're big clubs. I think Southend basically let him go because they're under transfer embargo. So I'm excited. I don't know whether he'll start, I imagine he'll be on the bench, but let's see what he can do.
It would be interesting to see where he's actually based. If he's been at Banbury, then at Southend, at Hartlepool, where's this guy travelling from? So that you see that a lot of the times as well with loan signings, the travel on top of then the match day and the travel back, training midweek. So there's that to factor in as well.
Did anyone know his dad used to play for Arsenal?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. So perhaps he's Southern based. Who knows?
It is very odd to be talking about Hartlepool in the league above, in the conference, and we're getting loan players from them when back in the day they were a lofty League One side in the second round of the FA Cup. I'm sure they were in the playoffs at that point, getting done by Matt Redmore's second half header for us to go 2-0 up. That is, it's just so, I don't know, I just always find these sort of things so strange when they're filtered down towards our level.
If Tamworth get promoted this season, then you're among a lot of big clubs who've played Football League for many years.
I don't think we can compete, though, as it is at the moment. Yeah, you look at some of the teams that have come up from the Conference North last season. Kidderminster, that's an ex-league club. They're a big club, struggling, really struggling. York the year before that, struggling. These are clubs that I would consider a lot bigger than Tamworth, not really doing anything. But then on the flip side to that, you have, I think a few seasons ago, Woking finished second or third. Dorking Wanderers are more than giving it a go. So, yeah, there is just a lot of big clubs in that league. And I think you've got to have a bit of money and a bit of clout now to even compete in that league. I mean, you just look at those teams in there.
Yeah, I think we need some serious investment if we went up. I don't think it'd be like what it was before. We scraped by and we were okay. We were in a good few seasons, but I think this time it's a different ball game. it's like another League Two, really. The quality of the teams and watch some games and some of the quality players is very, very good. But momentum could take us to, if we went up, momentum could take us again a little bit just to keep us in there. But yeah, I think we could really, really struggle. I suppose you have to look at a team like Solihull Moors to I suppose aspire to a little bit, and the kind of model they've gone down. But they've invested, and that's I think that's what we need really this time. Otherwise, we'll just come straight back down again, in my opinion.
Brett, do you expect Chris Ray will start when he's next available for Tamworth?
I would have thought to bring in another lone striker. That's two now and another one from the league above. I'd have thought they'd probably have got him in just to support over Christmas. So I would probably say yes, he will. I don't know if he'd start Saturday, but I can imagine that they're probably thinking for the rest of December that he'll start. Depends on how he goes on Saturday, obviously.
I suppose if I was Ty Deacon, I'd be a little bit disappointed if I lost my starting place, especially as he scored in the last game. Worked so hard, so I don't think he'll start personally. I think he'll keep with that, but it's another option, isn't it? That's how I think he'll probably play it, Andy Peaks.
So it's Chester away up next for Tamworth. Chester beat Brackley Town 1-0 at home on Tuesday night. Interestingly, that's the same scoreline that Tamworth beat Brackley by just a few weeks ago. Chester finished third last season and they're 8th place in the league at the moment, and they're only just outside the playoff positions on goal difference. They're also unbeaten in their last 4 league matches and have a little bit of form for taking points off the top teams. So just a few weeks ago, they beat South Shields 1-0 away, and they also beat Scunthorpe in October. So maybe not the best omen for Tamworth. What do you think, Graham? Tricky away day on paper?
Yeah, very, very tricky. I think they've only lost once at home this season. So I saw the post-match interview from their manager for their game on Tuesday, and yeah, I think they're kind of full of confidence at the moment. They're trying to make the home ground as much of a fortress as possible. Yeah, we can't really underestimate these guys at all. Those results that you just said there say it all. So this is what I was saying in last episode. A draw at this game, I'd actually probably take, even if it means Scunthorpe win. I think a draw is a good result for us because, yeah, I just think it's a very tough game. Just going there away, it's a fairly longish trip as well. But based on those recent results, I think, yeah, if we got a win, I'd be fantastic, to be honest. I'd be very, very happy. But I'd take a draw.
Brett, I think you might have predicted a defeat when we talked about this last time. How do you feel?
Yeah, I still think we'll lose it. I think more so now, given the fact that the momentum's kind of stopped a little bit. It's just a hard place to go to. They're a good team. They're in a bit of decent form. They've got a good crowd behind them as well. It's just not an easy place to go to.
I think Chester are going to be up there. They just seem to be starting to cook, don't they, really? This is the thing. So you're getting results against Scunthorpe, South Shield and Brackley. They've basically not lost any points against the top 4 sides. Well, not them played Tamworth yet, but if they were to get a draw with Tamworth, then they're definitely they're probably going to be up there based on that. A lot of managers say how good Brackley are, and they didn't really start the season that well, but they are occupying that 4th position now. So yeah, tough.
Interestingly, Chester are one of those teams who've played just 19 games. They've also got the second best defence in the league, joint second best defence in the league behind Tamworth in terms of how many goals they've conceded. So your sort of prediction, Graham, of a draw, Brett, you're thinking of a defeat. It's sort of adding up to be a really tough day at the office for Tamworth. Where do you think Tamworth can sort of get some joy, Graham?
Interesting question, really. Well, Chester don't score many goals. We've obviously got the best defence, so we should be able to keep them out. You'd think based on that. They've only scored 23 goals, which isn't a lot. So when they are winning games, they're obviously tending to win them by 1-0, that kind of thing, or there's not many goals in the games. But obviously they also don't concede as well. So I think we should be confident in our in our approach and not sit back. We should try and go for the win and try and take it to them, because we can score a lot of goals. But we're really gonna have to go on the front foot, because their defense is pretty mean.
If we're going to have any kind of hope, we're going to have to really just give it a go. I do feel like a little bit that we are kind of talking about Chester away like it's the FA Cup third round almost. I suppose we have got to remember that we are in this league and we are second in the league. If it wasn't for Saturday's postponement, could well be leading the league still. So I'm sure we're going to go into it still with plenty of confidence.
So before we move on, I thought just a little trivia quiz question for you both. Can you guess the last time Tamworth played Chester? So the month and the year, and can you give me the scoreline as well? This is just a bit of fun, so we won't do a league table of predictions for anything like this. Graham, do you want to go first?
I feel like I might have seen this earlier. So I think I know the year. I think I know the year. It was 2014, and I don't know the score, but I'm going to go 2-2.
I am going to say I probably went to it. I've got a feeling it was a midweek game around about the February, March time. And I think we won 1-0.
I was going to say that if you've got that even half right, Brett, that's very good. Well remembered.
The information I've got says that the match took place on the 25th of March, 2014, and the result was 2-0 to Chester.
But was it a Tuesday?
Yes, it looks like it was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
That's a long time ago.
I was really surprised because I would have assumed it would have been a little while ago, but that's nearly a decade ago.
There's how much Chester have fallen as well. Because I remember when we first went up to the conference, they were kind of like, "Whoa, that's a big club." Now they're just like they're an established National League North side.
Anything to sort of expect or that you're aware of about the Chester fans? What kind of welcome can the Tamworth players expect?
They're a big club with a good following. They're quite loud. The stadium is actually quite small for an ex-league size. It's not the biggest stadium. If it's segregated, the Tamworth fans are usually at the bottom end of the ground behind the goal.
So predictions time for you both. Given the Warrington match was postponed, I'll probably get just new predictions for you whenever that game's rearranged a bit nearer the time. But now I want your score predictions for Chester away. I know we did a December look ahead last time, but this is where it counts. So I'll keep a track of your scores for every game. Keep a track of your predictions for every game going forward in a little leaderboard. You're both level at the moment. So just a reminder, it's 3 points if you get the scoreline absolutely correct. 1 point if you get the result correct, but the scoreline not. Graham, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'm just going to completely debunk everything I've just said in the last 2 episodes. And I'm going to change my prediction from last time. And I'm going to say we're going to win 1-0. I'm going to be optimistic. I just had to think about it. And they don't score many goals. We do. We can keep the ball out. Why not? Let's try. We should win this game. Momentum and all of that, confidence. Let's go there and we'll win 1-0.
Brett?
2-0 Chester.
Well, I'm the optimist here, so
what changed that, Graham? Like, what was the key stat or key point that really did it for you?
I just looked at the amount of goals that they scored. Just thought, well, we should be able to keep them out. We're good at that. So our away form is pretty good as well. So yeah, why not? I think we've got, like Brett said, there's confidence in that group. They could have been top of the league still at the weekend. So yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Probably, like, next week probably eat my own words, but hopefully not.
We'll leave it there for this episode of the Tamworth FC Social podcast. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can do that by clicking the subscribe button and turning video notifications on. Until next time, goodbye.